Good evening, and welcome to the Temecula Community Services Commission regular meeting of September 13th, 2021. I'm Chair Eric Levine, and I will now call this meeting to order. We will start with flag salute. Commissioner Adi. Pledge tonight, coming off of 9/11 and 9/12. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner. And now, the roll call.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Tracy Courts, and I'll be serving as your Commission Secretary this evening. We'll begin with the roll call. Commissioner Krastevsky?
Here.
Commissioner Levine?
I am here.
Oh, sorry, Chair Levine. Commissioner Adi?
Here.
And Commissioner Sizemore?
Here.
All present, thank you.
Thank you. And do we have any public comments that came in the 11th hour?
No, not tonight.
All right, I will dispense with the reading of the public comments, and we'll roll into division reports.
Good evening.
Good.
Who's going to begin tonight? Perfect. We have Leah Juarez who will kick us off this evening.
Good evening, commissioners and staff. I will begin with our aquatics. So we have our award-winning aquatics division. With summer wrapping up, our staff voted for yearly awards. And so we have the different categories listed below. Lifeguard of the Year, we have two, Zachary Gonzalez and Dylan Tenaz. Instructor of the Year, these are the people who teach swim lessons, were Nicholas Ray and Regina Linslato. Senior Lifeguard of the Year is Diego Hernandez and Danny Alpert. Senior Lifeguard of the Year is Alexis Laudig and Daly Dewitt. And Recreation Leader of the Year, these are the staff members who work at the splash pad. They were Ali Huber and Diona Holt. Next, I'll highlight the attendance numbers. Summer swim lessons have concluded with over 2,250 children and adults served. We do begin lessons this week, September 14th, for the fall. And this past summer, attendance at our aquatics facilities was at an all-time high. Here we have the numbers for August. We had 2,400 patrons for public swim. Next slide, please. And there were 2020 lap swimmers in August. There was a total of 141 participants in water exercise classes, like water aerobics and water walking. And junior lifeguards had 35 participants, and a total of 11 in water rescues, and 45 first aid calls were made. In addition, our splash pad continues to be open 6 days a week through this fall. Next slide, please. Our contract class division continues to ramp back up with many familiar offerings, as well as new classes, and by welcoming new instructors. To highlight this month are the following: youth musical theater, young chefs in training, field hockey, and many more as listed here. The total impact for August was 381 participants. Next slide, please. We are so excited to bring back our Fit Fun Color Run at Ronald Reagan Sports Park this Sunday, September 19th. This year we're offering 2 heats for the 5-kilometer race, as well as an obstacle course for kids and team competitions. There are different categories for our teams, and each participant receives a goodie bag, event shirt, medal, refreshments, and post-race entertainment. The event will end with a color toss for all to join in on, and there will also be a fun zone with bounce houses, face painting, music, our event sponsors, and other vendors. We will also have many helpful volunteers to assist us with different tasks. Seeing as many of our high school students were missed out on their normal opportunities during community service hours this past year, we've had an overwhelming response, so we have a lot of help at this event, so we're really looking forward to it. Next slide, please. Okay, for the skate park, we brought back our Friday scooter night. This was our first event of the year. It was on September 3rd. The evening was filled with music. We had some prize drawings, giveaways, dinner, and other refreshments. The event was for children ages 17 and under and only cost $5 per participant. We did sell out of spots, and we ended up having a larger wait list than 20, but at the time these slides were prepared, that's where we were at. I think we had 40 at the end of the night. The pump tracks still remain open, and you can see some pictures we have here. There on the bottom, we have the neighborhood drop-in help, and they set up a booth in front of the skate park. They're a nonprofit group that advocates and promotes the development of action sports here in Temecula Valley. And it was really great to have them on board. The connection they have with the community was really amazing to see. So we look forward to partnering with them again. Next slide, please. Okay, we've got our teen zone. We are open every day of the week except Sundays. The cost is still $1 for an annual membership, and it's available to middle school and high school students. They can play board games, they can do video games, lots of other activities, as well as our scheduled activities. So for our August highlights, included crafts like these pom-pom pencil toppers in the picture. They also made some delicious recipes with the guidance of our food handler certified staff. And there were plenty of bonding opportunities facilitated by icebreakers and games. So every month we feature new and different activities as we try to continue to reach this niche group. Next slide, please. Okay, we continue with our monthly themed boxes. These boxes include crafts, activities, games, and different gifts or little giveaways related to the month's theme. And so up until August, we had been leading virtual meetups where participants could log in on Zoom. But now, starting last month, we are opening it up to where they can come in person to the Teen Zone, meet their friends in person if they're so inclined and comfortable. And just to note, we've sold out of every single box this year, including this month's. And so just to kind of reflect back on August, we did an end of summer theme, which was more of like a reflection on how was your summer, what did you do? So they got a custom sticker. One of our rec assistants, she is working towards a degree in graphic design, and so she designs these stickers, and we print them out, and they can collect them. So she designed that. We did a reflection exercise, our marshmallow catapult craft, and then a self-portrait activity as well. Next slide, please. So anecdotal stories speak volumes in the area of homeless outreach. So for example, you can see SWAG was able to get 3 a long time. That means 10 or more years of Temecula homeless clients housed or placed into residential drug treatment facilities. And staff were also able to provide transportation for a local homeless woman to get out of a violent relationship and reunite with her family out of state. For the encampments section, there's old concrete pipes that have been irregular, encampment sites, and those were destroyed by flood control, as pictured here on the slide, and there were 8 illegal encampments removed in August. Another highlight for August is that staff joined Councilmember Schwenk, City Manager Adams, and Assistant City Manager Hawkins for a tour of the Anchor in Lake Elsinore. The Anchor is a crisis stabilization center operated by SWAG. It has been very successful in getting chronically homeless individuals off the street and transitioned into housing, and it has become a model for surrounding cities to replicate. Lastly, staff are also finalizing the trash enclosure incentive program that will offer financial assistance to businesses that build or retrofit around it. Next slide, please. For the High Hopes program, participants engaged and connected with friends and city staff during the August 6th High Hopes pool party at the CRC pool. Everyone enjoyed Chick-fil-A sandwiches and other refreshments, but what they loved most was being able to see one another, reconnect, reunite, and have fun at the pool. And they wanted to give a big shout out to Aquatics for helping make a memorable evening. For the Eagle Soar playground, splash pad, special needs social skills program, ESP. It provides a safe, integrative, stress-free environment where children with special needs and their families can socialize with one another. This is an hour of play just for children and families that allows the opportunity to learn and explore without being overwhelmed by the large crowds. So the last day of the program was August 5th, and the program was held at Mike Nagar Park. However, this program will actually be extended through the fall. It will be held 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the second Saturday of each month through November. Next slide, please. The Senior Center continues to serve its members with daily activities and celebrations like National Senior Citizens Day. The seniors had a blast watching old movies and shows, and they also enjoyed build-your-own ice cream sundaes. The Senior Center is also a designated cool center during the summer for anyone in need of temperature relief from the heat. It opens when Riverside County issues an excessive heat advisory of 105 degrees or higher. Next slide, please. Continuing with inclusive services, the Senior Center Human Services Division acquired an all-new electric bus, 14-passenger bus, that's used to provide transportation for future programming. Also, the garden has continued to provide bountiful harvests throughout the summer. Seniors have been able to take home lots of different vegetables and fruits like corn, tomatoes, basil, zucchini, and more. Next slide, please. Oops, sorry. The library continues to serve people of all ages with programs ranging from the free comic book day to story time for the little ones. Just look at these impressive attendance numbers that highlight the wide range of people that the library continually reaches. That is nearly 15,000 people for the month of August. Very impressive. Next slide, please. TCSD continues to work with the Public Works Department in keeping our parks and facilities maintained and updated. Projects include perimeter fencing at Sam Hicks and updating the parking lot lights at Paloma del Sol. Upcoming projects are the installation of pickleball courts at Wolf Creek, converting the lights at the skate park and Ronald Reagan rink, and the planting of drought-friendly plants at Winchester Creek Park. Next slide, please. The sports division continues to see demand for outdoor recreation activities, as illustrated by the monthly field rentals being at full capacity. On another note, all field renovations are completed and open just in time for the city to host its first ever Labor Day Bash, which is an adult softball tournament. This was at Patricia Birdsall Park. Next slide, please. The park rangers continue to stay busy as Temecula's beautiful parks draw in the public, whether it's for sports, fishing, or leisure use. Patrols have increased with school back in session, with activities before and after school hours. And as stated on the previous slide, sports activities are in full swing, and the parks have been demanding more frequent patrols by our rangers. I would also like to share a story about Park Ranger Elizabeth Hurst, the neighborhood drop-in gentleman shared with us, that she went above and beyond out of her way. And so they were saying that the park had been closed due to some puddles, and she went and found a push broom, was able to push those puddles out, get it dried enough, and open the gate for a bunch of kids that were just waiting there at the gate, and she was their hero that day. So this is just an example of the character and the hard work of our park ranger team. Next slide, please. This concludes the first section of the presentation. We're available to answer any questions you have.
Excellent report. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you.
We'll start with Commissioner Krastevsky.
Thank you, Leah. That was a great report. Once again, just the numbers are amazing. I can't believe how many people we reach in this community, and it's just, you guys do a fantastic job month in and month out. I just wanted to make note that Elizabeth was one of my employees over in Escondido, and I put in a nice reference letter for her to come over here, so go Elizabeth.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing her. We appreciate that.
All right, Commissioner Adi.
I ditto that, Leah. Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for everything you do. You have great knowledge of what's going on in the entire department, too. I can really sense that. The all-time high at Aquatics, I guess, it's great because we're still kind of in a pandemic, but on the other hand, maybe that's an effect of, let's get out of the house kind of thing, but that's pretty amazing to hit that all-time high number. A quick question on the anchor program in Lake Elsinore. How is that funded? Does anybody up here know a little more about it?
I don't know how it's funded offhand, and unfortunately Mike can't be here this evening.
Okay.
But I know that SWAG, which took us up there, has been talking about a similar facility they operate in Paris and seeing if the city may have some options to potentially utilize some of the capacity there. So we can certainly talk to Mike and get you an answer on that.
Okay, so it's something that you can utilize city to city, correct?
You have to have an agreement with whoever actually
Okay.
operates that shelter.
Okay.
So we can't use Anchor because Lake Elsinore is utilizing Anchor completely, but there's a
Okay.
chance we may be able to utilize part or all of the Paris
Okay.
facility.
When you get the report tonight, the anchor that was underlined in the slide is a hot link, so you can
Oh, okay.
continue on.
Thank you.
Great, okay, thank you. That's it.
Thanks, Gary. Commissioner Sizemore.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for the report, very thorough. Once again, I am impressed with all there is to do in Temecula and also with the demand for all there is to do in Temecula. I notice every month we have wait lists and sold-out activities. It's good that they're getting sold out. Hopefully we can add more activities in the future so things aren't waitlisted. A question on the digital photography, is that being taught in person yet, or is that still virtual?
I believe that instructor doesn't live in California anymore, so he's going to continue to do virtual
Okay.
unless one day we find a replacement, but for now, that'll continue to be
Okay.
virtual.
Thank you. I loved seeing the photos of story time at the library and seeing Miss Ginger sitting there. I can almost hear the train whistle now. Lastly, the splash pad. When I was at the Ready Commission meeting in August, there was a parent there with a special needs child that had some concerns and unhappiness on the way reservations are now. That was limiting her access to the splash pad. I think Erica was at that meeting. Is that something that we need to address, or?
Yeah, so what she was referring to is that every summer we set aside a certain number of dates and hour sections that are only for special needs kids. The rest of the time, it's just open, first come, first serve, essentially. And we had reduced the number this year due to a reduction in staffing and then COVID demands and so forth. So we have 2 more dates planned, one in September, one in October, and I asked staff to look and see if they can add some additional dates in September and October. We close the splash pad at the end of October, so it won't be relevant then, but we're looking to see if we can expand that programming again and add some more slots that are just dedicated for special needs kids to use.
So next summer, as things are more free, open, we'll be able to add those days back.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
goal.
All right, thank you.
And Leah, really hard to improve upon, great report and solid results. I just wanted to note, I'm always continually impressed by the numbers at the library. It's just such a phenomenal service, and just to hear that number, 15,000, first time, long time, is phenomenal. The homeless outreach, getting 3 people off the street who have been there for 10 years, just another continued feather in the cap of the good work that our team is doing and the work they're doing with SWAG.
On that topic,
Yeah.
just the current, I don't know if you noticed or if you saw in the last update that went out, but our current tally is 47 street exits since January, which is just
I
bananas.
didn't catch that.
Yeah, and we've had 3 returns, so that's really just an incredible, net 44 exits since January is amazing, so we're very excited about that. And one bit of feedback that we've actually received from some of the individuals who have been sort of chronically,
Yeah.
on our streets has been that it's just not the same anymore because so many people have left. So there's a certain amount to which part of the success sort of builds on itself as people are exited into rehab or housing or family reunification. The community that in a sense had established certain things like sites at Sam Hicks or sites in the Wash, that community itself starts to kind of break up a little bit as people street exit, and then more people are willing to exit because some of their reasons for staying are gone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's been a really interesting dynamic that we had not seen in previous years, so we're very excited to see the progress that's being made this year.
It's just outstanding. Really good work. Thank you, guys. And just the last note is, and you touched on it, the Sam Hicks. I remember hearing that it was going to get a fence, wondered what it looked like, and I happened to drive by it on the way in, and I thought, that looks really good. So, just great work. Thank you, Leah. Now, I suppose Dawn has her Dawn-tastic report for us.
Well, good news, I do. Good evening, Commissioners. It's nice to see everybody. I haven't seen you in, well, a really long time, so good evening. All right, that's enough. Let's jump into the report, shall we? Let's start with the Art Gallery Showcase. For the month of August, the gallery at the Merck featured Dreams, a colorful and imaginative exhibition. The Temecula Valley Museum Rotunda Gallery featured anthology exhibition. The Civic Center Gallery featured local oil painter Tom Graves. And finally, the gallery at the library featured Mexico Colors. Thank you, Tracy. The Temecula Arts and Culture Map Guide is now available. Visitors can follow the map to find Temecula public art and learn about the cultural offerings provided throughout our facilities and parks. A large poster is available to view in the Civic Center breezeway. I'm not sure if anybody saw it on their way in. And free foldable maps are available at the museum, theater, Civic Center, and at Visit Temecula Valley's Visitor Center. Now let's tune into community outreach. Around and About Temecula Park Adventure Series released 2 new episodes featuring Nakayama and Vorburg Parks and Nicholas Road Park. I don't know if anybody saw Nicholas Road Park, but there was a pirate in that video. We received a record 36 paver requests for the Path of Honor paver program. Paver recipient names will be read at the Patriotic Salute to Veterans event on November 11th. Staff obtained a $600 sponsorship from Sports Clips for the Fit Fun Color Run, and Temecula Chick-fil-A donated 20 digital offer cards and a large gift basket for both the Color Run and the Halloween Carnival. The team is currently busy working on a State of the City video, filming the new Temecula alumni video series for City Council, as well as the next Park Adventure series. Next slide, thank you. Social media is doing as well as ever with an August total impact of over 30,000. Parading into special events, our what seemed like never-ending summer concert series finally ended with a total of 11 concerts this summer, and we look forward to getting back to our normal schedule next summer. The events team was happy to take over the lead for Art Off the Walls, and we look forward to putting our spin on that monthly event. A special thank you to Chair Levine for his MC work at the September 11th Remembrance this past weekend and for the Commission's support. The team is supporting the co-sponsored Old Town Temecula Outdoor Quilt Show the weekend of October 2nd, and we are busy planning for the Halloween Carnival, which is moving to Old Town, the annual Rod Run, and holiday events and programs. Let's give a standing ovation as the theater is open. The main theater reopened its rehearsal rooms and dance studios to producers and cast members, including Temecula Valley Players with Mamma Mia, Fine Arts Network Theater Company with Matilda, and Southwest Women's Chorus, and welcomed back its first audience on September the 3rd. The Merck premiered a total of 8 shows in August featuring jazz, country, speakeasy, and stand-up comedy. September is looking exciting as Classics at the Merck relaunched yesterday. Stand-up comedy continues, as well as the annual co-sponsored TEDx Temecula on September the 25th. We're going to click through these Merck slides because I just talked about that, and we're going to stroll on down to the Temecula Valley Museum. The Artists of Doorland exhibit concluded on August 22nd, and Stitching California, Fiber Artists Interpret the State's People, Life, and Land exhibit was installed and opened on August 29th. The Stitching California exhibit will be on display until August 24th. This exhibit was planned to run concurrently with the quilt show to capture that same audience. In August, the museum traveled virtually and offered in-person activities to patrons to celebrate the country of Spain during Second Saturday. The program had 144 guests in attendance who enjoyed the photo backdrop, the flavors of Spain with tapas and churros, crafts, dancers, and an art lesson from Bigfoot art classes. Art in the Park concluded in August and had a very successful first year. 235 guests enjoyed the fun and creative activities provided by the museum team and the music in the gazebo provided by special events. Both teams of staff look forward to growing this event next summer. The 7th student art mural celebrating National Women's Equality Day hit close to home for me as my niece was one of the artists in that. The goal of this mural was to inspire young girls to follow their dreams and encourage other role models to be their inspiration. The next mural in honor of National Citizenship Day is scheduled to be unveiled tomorrow at 3 p.m. Next slide. Thank you. Lots of fun things are currently in the works at the museum. Louisiana was celebrated this past weekend at Second Saturday. Citizenship Day will be celebrated through the next student art mural and with facts and free crafts at the museum. On October 1st from 5 to 7, the museum will celebrate artist Megan Miller and her depictions of animals at the Merc with an artist reception. And on October 2nd at 10 a.m., the museum will host fiber artist Marlene Oakes in conjunction with the Stitching California exhibit and in support of the Quilt Show. And that does conclude my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions. And thank you, Madam Secretary.
Dontastic, as always. All right, we'll start off with Commissioner Sizemore.
Oh my goodness, there's still so much to do in Temecula. So exciting. I loved seeing the unveiling on social media of the Arts and Culture Map Guide. A question, is that available in the Temecula app?
No, not yet. We have not coordinated that. This was a long-time project through many designers, and we finally launched it, but that's something that we'll have to discuss specifically with IT to see
That
how we
would
can
be
get it on.
awesome. I know I have a millennial and a Gen Z at home, and they don't want paper.
Right.
They don't want it on paper. So
Well,
that
it's
would be great.
online as well. It's just not interactive.
Okay.
So you can download it or look at it on your phone on the website.
On the
that's
website.
Temecula Art and Culture Map.
Okay.
But thank you for that idea, so we can take it forward to
Yeah.
see where we can bring it to the next level. I know that Coronado has one that's interactive like that, where you follow along and you can hear. So
That would be awesome. I think some of the things like I've talked with Tracy about at the museum when we've chatted about what they're doing and what the Arts Council is doing in Temecula, that would be awesome for visitors that come to Old Town to really have that.
the
That engagement,
auditory
yeah.
engagement, yeah. Some people
Yeah.
learn visually, some people learn
Yeah.
by listening, and it
Some
would also
people
make
need all
it
three.
inclusive. So thank
Yep.
you.
Awesome. I did want to say great job, Eric, emceeing the ceremonies on Sunday. I enjoyed seeing you up on stage. I'm going to be going to Mamma Mia, I think, on Friday. I've seen it there once before. I love it so much.
We both went this weekend, and I danced.
I did too. I've done that before too.
Yeah.
I've been practicing my ABBA songs all week.
It was pretty full on Sunday, and Erica went on Friday night.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to be doing the TEDx conference. I'd like to go see the stitching exhibit. I'm excited to see the quilt show back again this year. And I think I'm going to go for the first time to the art reception at the Merc to see Megan Miller's exhibit. Be great. Thank you. I felt like I just read you my calendar for the month.
All right, thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Adi.
Trying to think of other adjectives besides dontastic. So stellar, exemplary, entertaining. Thank you for a great report. I don't really have any questions. Just a comment that I've never been a fan of ABBA, so probably won't be going. And I boycott the house if ever the girls are watching it on TV. So I'm sorry. for being a party pooper on that one. That's it. Oh, I did have a question. On the theater, are there any pandemic restrictions?
We are not doing any temperature taking at this time. However, people are wearing masks. I wore my mask during the whole performance. Of course, when you're in the courtyard, you're open air, but when you're shoulder to shoulder, and some people just, even though they're vaccinated, they feel safer. So we're not mandating it, we're just suggesting or recommending.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Commissioner Krastewski.
Thank you, Don. It's like drinking from a fire hose. It just keeps coming. You can't stop it. No, I honestly, it's just, I'm amazed every time. And every time I feel so ashamed because I'm like, I have no arts or culture in me because I don't do half this stuff. But there's just so much, and I'm so glad that you guys do that. And thank you for the map. Awesome.
Yeah, how can I add to that? Because it's wonderful. Appreciate all of the things that you guys do. And, you know, it was really, you know, I'm always touched to be able to, you know, MC events, and the 9/11 one. You know, it's one of those that, you know, is intended to bring people together. You know, I had that vibe, and hopefully we can kind of keep that going. So thank you, Don. Outstanding report. And I guess we can keep rolling.
May I just cover
Of
two
course.
quick slides, please, Chair?
Let's do it.
If, Aaron, if you could just put those two. It gives me great sadness to inform you that Steve Williamson passed away last week. He worked at the History Museum for 14 years. He's a husband, a father, a grandfather, retired U.S. Post Office worker, and Air Force Staff Sergeant. It was unexpected. This photo of him over the diorama was his last tour he gave on Wednesday morning to the Global Citizens Group. Steve came in on his day off and presented, and unfortunately passed away later that afternoon. So if you can pass to the next slide. This was just a loving slide that we made in his memory. Katrina had made this for a volunteer event several years ago, so we just updated it a little bit. If you have seen the Pioneers Etched in Stone book, he wrote that book for the 25th anniversary. It's available at the History Museum. I have a copy at my desk if anyone wants to read it. Just the passion and the source of knowledge that he had. He actually shared at an interview that you could hear online that was just done 2 weeks ago. So it's a great, huge loss. You know, our condolences to his family, and we will forever carry his memory. And I would respectfully ask if we could adjourn in the memory of Steve Williamson tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. And I actually wrote that down, that we should do that. So I wholeheartedly concur and appreciate you bringing this up. I mean, Steve was a treasure to the community here, and I think it's only appropriate that we do that. All right. Well, back to our consent calendar then. We have the first item, which is to approve the action minutes of August 9th. And that is the request. Trust everyone had the opportunity to review that, and I will entertain a motion to approve.
Second?
Or do we have a motion? I'm just
Motion to
offering the
approve.
motion. So motion,
Second.
perfect.
Okay, so I have a motion from Commissioner Sizemore and a second by Commissioner Krastewski. So I will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Krastewski,
Aye.
Commissioner Audi,
Aye.
Commissioner Sizemore,
Aye.
and Chair Levine.
Aye.
All right, it was unanimous.
Woo! That was a tough one, too. I mean, I was reviewing it and comparing it with all the notes, and that was I think the longest meeting, if you don't count, going out to judge holiday lights and that kind of thing. Speaking of holiday lights, I noticed the electric van. Is that going to be in service this year, potentially?
Potentially, if our commission would like to continue with the holiday lights judging, I know we have
Oh.
some new ones, so yeah, so that would be taking place in December. So that is definitely an option, I think. Might be a smooth ride for everyone.
Perhaps.
Can I wear my elf costume?
Absolutely. If nothing else, just so that we could see that. All right, the second item will be the nomination and election of the vice chair position for the remainder of calendar year 2021. And Erica, do you want to talk about this in the brief agenda report?
Certainly. So as you all know, your colleague Adam Ruiz was appointed and accepted a position on the Planning Commission, which leaves a vacancy on this commission. All vacancies are filled, whether that's as a result of someone moving on, stepping down, or term expiration. All vacancies are filled on the same calendar year cycle for all boards and commissions. So as you may know, the applications are being received now. We have to have that window open for 60 days, so it'll be open for the months of September and October. Then in November, council will do what they just did recently and have applicants come to a council meeting, and they will make the appointments for the new calendar year. So this vacancy also leaves us a vacancy in the vice chair position. So at the suggestion of Chair Levine, we are bringing forward this item to recommend that you discuss among yourselves and appoint someone to be a vice chair for the remainder of the calendar year. In January, your new colleague will be sworn in, and colleagues, parentheses S, if we have 2 new people. And at that point, there will be another discussion of the chair and vice chair positions. So essentially, this will be for the remainder of this calendar year.
So, I don't know how often people have heard kind of the process, but, we typically don't talk about it as a group because that's not something that you do, but, generally speaking, people might offer it up and, either nominate themselves or nominate, someone else. And the only thing I know is that it won't be me. So with that, do we have any questions or discussion?
Just to open it
Sure.
up and get moving, I'll nominate Commissioner Sizemore.
All right. Do we have any additional comments or questions for that? Okay. Go ahead. No, I didn't have
Nominations?
Yeah.
I was actually going to nominate Commissioner Audi.
Oh. Well, so we have 2 nominations. So, I think we
Can
can
we
discuss
discuss
it.
that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, since my seat is up, and I haven't revealed anything about applying, I think just for continuity's sake, to be sure that the person you have now, could continue on in the next year or step up, depending on what Chair Levine chooses to do, they could step up to that position. So that would be I would be happy to do it for the remainder of the year, but that was the reason I nominated Commissioner Sizemore, just for the continuity. And thank you so much for the nomination, Chris. Appreciate it.
I like it. So, so we have two items that are out there, but we can't do anything without a motion. So, do we have someone who would like to make a formal motion?
Well, I hear what Commissioner Audi is saying, so I can make a formal motion to nominate Commissioner Sizemore.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Kristofsky to nominate Commissioner Sizemore and a second by Commissioner Audi. So I will just go ahead and do a formal roll call vote. Commissioner Kristofsky,
Aye.
Commissioner Audi.
Aye.
This is my first time doing this, so I would assume I leave Commissioner Sizemore. Can she vote for herself?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, then Commissioner Sizemore.
I feel so vain. Aye, and thank you.
And Chair Levine.
Aye.
All right, the motion is approved, so that will make Commissioner Sizemore now Vice Chair Sizemore. Congratulations.
So I
Thank
think
you.
that means next meeting, you'll slide over to one of these two spots and we'll shuffle again. And then beyond this, I think, gosh, was it January or February where we actually do the change for the new chair and the new vice chair?
Typically, they're sworn in January, and then you have the discussion about the
month.
chair and vice chair position in February.
In February, okay. So I have 4 months. And then I go back to being just a regular old Joe. You know, I was thinking about this earlier, not to belabor this, and it's going to be a short meeting anyway, but, you know, Eric Willis was out for a lot in 2019, so I wound up going to a lot of city council meetings and things. So I feel like I've been the chair for almost 3 years. So.
And
I
you were
welcome-
enjoying it until that 3:30 a.m. council meeting.
Yeah, but you know, I'm always in great company, so I appreciate it.
I just had a moment of realizing if Eric can't make it, I'll be the one at that 3 a.m.
That's right. But you sit right next to Erica, you know, and before that it was next to Kevin, so I always felt safe. All right. Any director's report for you to share this evening?
Yes,
Erica?
just a couple of notes. As you might know, a couple of our staff members attended and presented at the Ready Commission this past Thursday. So Charles Walker and Cassandra Ambrose presented about workforce development and the Global Citizens Programs at the Ready Commission. It was very, very well received. We got a lot of feedback, took a lot of notes. But one issue that keeps recurring, and I know Commissioner Sizemore, Vice Chair Sizemore, you've heard this as well from some of our individuals who've given input, is that we seem to be missing some outreach to the community, individuals with physical disabilities. So Temecula is known for its outreach to individuals with special needs, particularly individuals with developmental disabilities or autism spectrum disorder. But we've had more than one person raise the issue on more than one occasion that we're maybe not doing as well when it comes to providing opportunities for individuals with physical disabilities. So among other things, we'll be reaching out to Julie Mazarek. Does anybody know how to pronounce her last name? Okay, awesome. She's the founder of the Disability Sports Foundation, and her son has autism, and I believe her husband is physically disabled. So she does a lot of advocacy. She participated in the Community Services Master Plan process. She tried to participate in the recent Quality of Life Master Plan meeting, but her son had some issues with sitting in the meeting, which I think we can all relate to. So she had to leave early, unfortunately. But we will be reaching out to her. And our goal over the next year is to really step up what we offer in this category. So we'll be looking at kind of all of our offerings and just sort of trying to assess where can we do more, where can we do better, whether that's in terms of accessibility or dedicated programming, integrated programming. We're just going to kind of look at examine the whole topic, and I'm sure we'll be bringing that back to you at a future date with some recommendations for how we'd like to proceed. On a related topic, in Leah's presentation, she mentioned neighborhood drop-in coming over to the skate park. So we had a meeting with them last week with Councilmember Schwank as well. And they wanted to discuss potentially improving the skate park, which I think everybody has heard the complaints, even if you're not a skater, that it's an outdated design. So we're going to be just looking into that as well, and then bringing it back to the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Subcommittee, which is Councilmember Schwank and Councilmember Alexander. And then potentially, if the council supports it in the future, looking at a CIP in maybe the next year or out years that would enable us to either renovate the existing skate park and/or create some small drop-in skate park amenities like we're doing the mini pump tracks throughout the city. Let's see here. Oh, yes, one last thing. So tomorrow evening, there's an item on the council agenda to hear an events update for the special event, for the winter special events, which include Chilled, the parade, and Rod Run. There we go. Let's see if I can remember them all. So there's really no issue with Chilled or the Rod Run. Everyone's excited about that. Chilled is going to be like our 4th of July in December. It's scheduled for December 18th over at Ronald Reagan Sports Park. The sticky wicket, so to speak, is the parade. Because of the expansion of Old Town dining, the normal parade route in Old Town is much, much narrower. For a variety of reasons, if we were to try to have a parade in Old Town, it would mean changing the format of the parade so that it would be a no vehicle parade. So we would not have any motorized vehicles at all, which also rules out the big floats. The alternative is, so we would do a walking only parade here in Old Town, or the alternative is to move the parade up on Jefferson, which for those of you who've been here long enough, you will remember that's where the parade started. And I think it moved to Old Town in 2010. Okay. So we've had it here in Old Town for this would be the 11th year. It's very well received. But obviously there are some logistical hurdles with the expansion of Old Town dining. So council will be hearing a presentation on that tomorrow, and they will discuss and provide a recommendation on whether they want to see a modified parade in Old Town or the traditional parade on Jefferson. Just as a heads up, in case you want to tune in and follow along. And if not, we will provide you with a recap. So that's all I have for this evening. And just want to thank you, as always, for everything you do for our community.
Likewise. All right, I guess we'll roll into commissioner reports. Commissioner Chris?
Eric, I actually had a question for you about an update for the roller hockey rink. Is there any update?
Not much of one, but yes, Stacy Fox, who's in charge of our maintenance for all of our parks and facilities, well, the park side, sorry, not the buildings, has gone out for some quotes on different options for what we can possibly do with the rink. And then once he gets all those back, which should be in the next few weeks, we're going to schedule another subcommittee meeting. So we're looking at, that would be October, I'm guessing. Normally subcommittee meetings are the same day as council. I'm guessing it would be the second council date in October, just to give us a little more time to prepare, possibly the November date. We did just provide that same information to Tom Bielek of Temecula Valley Inline Hockey Association, because he's been emailing me very regularly, wanting to know what's taking so long. But just as a reminder, the rink remains in service. It's not closed. We had that temporary closure to fix the cracks. It's in service. Everybody's using it. Nobody's being prevented from using it. They're just very anxious to hear what's going to happen. So
Sure.
Hopefully we'll have an update in another couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thank
How
you.
about regarding the question about facility rentals for different gatherings?
So we were able to accommodate the two women who came. It was Temecula Valley Women's Club and...
Garden Club.
Thank you. Was it Women's Club and Garden Club, or Garden Club and somebody else?
I know definitely the Garden Club.
Definitely
The other
Garden
one,
Club.
it could have been Genealogy. They were the
Genealogy.
ones, yes.
There we go, thank you. I had the club wrong. It wasn't the Women's Club, it was the Garden Club. We were able to accommodate the Garden Club for sure, and I think we were able to accommodate Genealogy as well. Does that ring a bell for anyone? Sorry. You can see my memory. I just rely on other people to provide me with answers to questions. But overall, we are still kind of limited on our indoor rentals,
Sure.
and especially with the surge of COVID numbers, we're trying to keep it as low-key as we possibly can.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the update.
Thank you.
As far as commissioner report, it's been a crazy month for me. I haven't really been as involved as I'd like to, so I don't have much to add. So that'll conclude my report. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chris. Commissioner Adi?
Yeah, I too don't really have anything to report. Would like to take the opportunity to thank Kathy for representing us on the Blue Ribbon Committee. I thought we had a fairly decent first meeting at the Blue Ribbon, and look forward to Kathy continuing to representing us there. And also to thank Eric for emceeing the 9/11. Heard nothing but great things about that. Thank you for doing that and representing us there. I didn't have anything until Erica gave a report. So I wanted to give you kudos on following up on the physical needs. I think that's outstanding, and it's something that I'm always in tune to in a lot of my other advocacy groups, to make sure we have accessibility, that we have, we consider chairs, we consider mobility in many different ways, and be creative about that, and just always being open to that. So thank you for doing that. And then I also wanted to ask a question on something I wrote down that I need to have my glasses on for. Oh, so I had an incident reported to me regarding hockey. It was over at Nagar Park. They had a child go down with heat stroke, and my friend, who's a physician, assisted. Her son was on the other team, and there were no medical kits, and she said she couldn't locate a defib. So I was wondering what we do have available at our facilities, and if there is one. I mean, I asked her if she checked up by the splash pad. I thought that's probably where we probably would have had it, but I just wanted to know what our policy is and if we do have them.
I'll look into that. I know we have DFibs, AEDs, DFibs available at different facilities, and I'll get a list and confirm which ones have them and which
Okay.
ones don't. And I'll do the same thing for the first aid kits. I'll check in with Gwen on that.
Okay, and is that the responsibility of the youth league, or is it the city to have the med kit there?
It's for us to have on hand. I mean, I know that, for example, at Pat Birdsall, I know we have an AED. I believe
Yeah.
we have two, one at the building and one that's on a cart, because
Okay.
that's had to be used before, and staff can bring that cart down. The
Okay.
difference is that's a staffed sports park.
Yes,
So
yes.
staff are always on hand.
Yeah.
For something like, you said this was at Nagar Park, right?
Yes,
So it's unstaffed, so that's
Right.
kind of a different consideration. I know we
Right.
have AEDs in the CRC, at the theater, here at City Hall,
Yeah.
obviously. I think
Well-
every facility has an AED, but there's a question about accessibility if something happens when it's not staffed,
Yeah.
or if it's too far away, if it's.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'll talk to James, maybe there's more that I need to know about it, but at least when we, schedule a league, that we have that as a part of our policy. If we don't have the med kit for them, that they have to have it at all of their games. So anyway, that was,
Thank you for bringing that to
question.
our attention. We will
oh
look
yeah,
into that.
no, thank you for your answer, and thanks, staff, for everything. I mean, just continue to be amazing, and so look forward to another great year ahead.
Thanks, Gary. And on to Kathy, our new vice chair.
Thank you, Eric. Erica, I wanted to make mention, we're talking about the inclusive programs for special needs. We do have, from my experience volunteering in our community, we have two powerhouses in our midst. We have Amy Manier, who is on the Blue Ribbon Committee, and Crystal Pistorian, Ready Commissioner. She's done amazing things for building inclusivity in the scouting program locally, so I would consider reaching out to her. Thank you. That would be my suggestion. I did want to make mention, I've been attending the coffees with the mayor, when the ones that they had, and I did have an opportunity to speak with the gentlemen that are representing Neighborhood Drop-In, and I really love a lot of what they've talked about and what I've been able to learn about these little pocket parks for skating. And so I would encourage us, maybe not just having it all collected at Ronald Reagan, but spread out throughout the city. So that way we have these youth riding their skateboards to get there. They're more accessible. We don't have moms driving kids to go to the skate park. I love that idea. And I think it's really impressive to see that we have a wait list of 20 for the next scooter night. Tells me that maybe there's a need and an interest there. I wanted to make mention of the 9/11 ceremony. I know there were some people unhappy with parking. As our community is getting bigger, I know it's a tradition to meet at the duck pond. It's a traditional spot in our community to gather. But we may, I don't know, consider meeting somewhere where we're going to have more parking so that more of our residents can go ahead and participate. The Ready Commission at their last meeting last week, they had some discussion on a culture event, and there was the suggestion by Commissioner Wilson about celebrating World Culture Day in 2022. I thought that was an interesting idea, and I'd love to see community services fall behind that and support it. I did have two things I wanted to mention from the Blue Ribbon Committee. We had our first meeting last month, and what we did at that meeting is one thing we wanted to try to do, everybody talks about Temecula has that small town feel. And we tried to define, if we were to define what is the small town feel, what is that? So we worked on trying to define that. And we also worked on trying to identify factors of change that may affect a change in how our residents enjoy the city and how we live between now and 2040. And that's going to help us in our next meeting as we start to look at our core values for the city. We had Rabbi Sandy Rosenstein from the Interfaith Council. She brought up a point, and we've actually faced this same thing. I'm on a committee for planning the Women in Business event for the Chamber of Commerce. And unbeknownst to us, we didn't look at the dates. We are holding it on this Thursday, which is Yom Kippur, which is the highest holy day for the Jewish faith. And so now we've just eliminated the participation of anyone from that faith. And this rabbi mentioned at the Blue Ribbon Committee meeting that there's a lot of events we do in the city that are on Saturday, which is their Sabbath, and they can't participate. So I would love to maybe that be something we could look at going forward in 2022. I know I've ran into this event now once with Toastmasters and now with the Chamber of Commerce, that I need to toggle that switch on my calendar for world calendars to check all holidays. So that'd be something I'd encourage us to do going forward. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Well, I guess I don't have anything else to add. I sort of gave my comments about 9/11 on that day. So I can see it is 6:58, and I would like to thank everyone for being here this evening. Oh, it's 6:59, dang. I'd like to thank everyone for being here, and I'd like to adjourn this meeting in the memory of Steve Williamson. Thank you for your service, Steve. And we will see everyone back here Monday, October 11th at 6. We are adjourned.